Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the show with Mike. Garrett is here, just the two of us today. Figured it was a good day for that. I'm gonna pound on the trans
Yeah,
a little bit.
hot.
Yeah,
I do that every night.
I'm gonna really get in there and fucking disgusting. You know, you disgust me sometimes, Garrett. You know that.
That's what I'm here
No,
for.
it's getting real. It's getting real. I do have some updates. Dan is here working on the garage area over there and put in some lighting. I don't think it's going to be enough for a studio, but it's a good start. So I think I'm going to have to add some track lighting for the new studio. I'm looking at some decor stuff. So I don't know. I keep going back and forth on what I want to do in there, but the electrician is supposed to come tomorrow. I don't know how many people deal with this. I usually don't give a shit when it was my house, but you know, G's here and he's way more straight and narrow than me. We're polar opposites in that way. I'm like, yeah, Bill can do it. Nah, bring Bill over. Let him do it.
Yeah, I'm that way.
Yeah, I don't care that much. So we need to add a small sub panel, some electrical work to run into that studio for some stuff. And so for the what is it, double split, dual split, something like that, the AC unit.
Yeah.
So there's like a whole pecking order that these things have to happen. Believe me, for the first time in my life, it's not my fault. You know, I'm stuck waiting on other fucking people. Should have been done 2 months ago. Is what it is. But yeah, for the dual split AC unit or whatever, they need to add a sub panel for it. So the electrician's supposed to come tomorrow. And now it's a matter of, I'm in the uncomfortable position of going, by the way, you're licensed and insured, right?
Yeah.
It's like knowing I don't give a shit, you know, but G's like, yeah, no, we need to make sure. And I'm like, fuck. And so once he's done, then the AC guys can come. Once they're done, the carpet guys can come, and then it's just kind of build out. So there was some other stuff added, kind of irrelevant, but it's coming along. I ordered a retro fridge that's going to be in there. That's kind of dope. I talked to Scott about the pinball machine. We're going to get one of those down here. I can't fucking wait. And I would encourage you all to go check it out. I'll get more details as we get closer, but he's getting real close to opening a pinball place in Lake Orion. We're living as a vacation, and that's going to be so cool. I love guys that are passionate about whatever it is. If you're into podcasting and you're passionate about it, awesome. That's one of the reasons Garrett's here. He's kind of passionate about this sort of thing, and it's like, okay, yeah, he likes cocky and he's sort of retarded, but he's passionate, and I can appreciate that. So you know, there's stuff that goes into it. Scott's one of those guys. He's not retarded and he doesn't like cock, but he's very, very passionate about pinball, and he and I can kind of jack off together about that. No homo.
Yeah.
And get off to pinball and stuff like that. And so I've seen like the layouts, and he had the electricians in his location there in Lake Orion. And I when I come to town, we're gonna have to do an event there. You know,
Awesome.
get out to Lake Orion and check it out and play some games. And you know, I'm sure he'd even close the damn thing and just have monsters there where we can go, kind of like a high school party. We bring our own beer or something. Yep. I don't know what the layout's going to be, but we'll make it fun. And so I've been in talks with him about getting a machine down here, and I can't wait for that. And then this retro mini fridge. It's hardly even a mini fridge. It's just kind of dope. But
yeah,
that's going to go in and
like that.
Yeah, it's really cool. I was looking. G and I were looking at these little fridges and stuff, because I've got a really cool one in the next room over, just so I don't have to go up, you know, in the main house. It's kind of, the layout here is kind of like my own little hotel suite down here, which I love. And then, you know, it's separated from the house. I keep all the doors locked so no one comes near my shit. God damn it. You understand me? That's just the way I roll, Garrett. And
same here. I got a bunker.
Yeah. It's like, no kids walk into my fucking room. Are you out of your mind? You know, God knows what I'm doing in here. I could be shooting up heroin in here. I could be doing anything, jacking it, whatever. Like, no. we make it very clear no one's welcome in this area unless they're personally invited. But I've got this sweet fridge, but it's boring. It's just silver. And it's like, so I was doing some research, and this one's like retro, looks like it's out of the 50s when they first started making fridges. So that's gonna be cool. I'm gonna stock that son of a bitch with drinks, and then I ordered new mic stands so we can get away from this shit with the microphone in your face. I ended up going with the ultra whites. They're the ones Rogan uses. They're great. A lot of shows use them.
Yeah.
I'm a little sensitive to that because when Tim built my studio out, I think he was following a lot of the pattern that Jamie used to build out Rogan's studio. And at that point, I'd never seen Rogan's show. I was obviously aware of it, but I'd never seen it. So people were like, "Oh, it looks like Rogan's studio," and I was like, "Rogan's studio? What are you talking about?" And there were similarities in the
it wasn't
style.
1 for 1, but
yeah, it wasn't 1 for 1 at all. But it was like the SM7Bs, which are way better for this. I was really into the Electro Voice ER20s just because that's what all the radio stations used. I still like these headphones. They, most podcasters are using the Sennheisers now, but I'm like, I love the Sony Pros. Fuck the digitals.
Sony's too.
Yeah, the digitals suck. I don't care about any other Sonys. Maybe those are great. I don't know. Yeah. But these Sony Pros, not the digitals. It got to be the Pros. The digitals are garbage. I got suckered into that once. Are my favorite. And the ultra wide, I did some research. They're expensive as shit, unfortunately, for those things. But they really give you a lot of freedom, and for podcasting with a camera out in front of you shooting down, it should be great with a mic coming up. So I'm just some little things that I nerd out to, like that.
The same way.
Yeah, it's I'm sure some people couldn't care less, but
no, it's funny. It's as much as you're talking about like that mini fridge you have for the background and stuff. That was my whole reason for buying this shelf and stocking. It was like I just want fun little things for the visual people.
Yeah.
Funny enough, that little creeper there is a fridge.
What's that?
That little thing right there, that's a fridge.
Oh, the creeper. Oh, my God.
Yeah, the little Minecraft creeper.
Dude, I got to get one of those. Marshy would go crazy for that.
I found it at Target.
Really? Yo, yep. Dude. Send me a picture of that later, will you?
Will do.
I bet, because he's got a little... and it holds like 3 cans of Red Bull or something, or 4 cans. Like it's really small. It's yellow.
It's pretty small, but...
That doesn't even matter. I don't even think Marshall uses it, but he really gets into the Minecraft thing, and that is like next level. I think the little yellow one he's got, it might have been during like a Pokemon phase, and it might have Pikachu on it or something. It might be something like that, but it's literally like 12 inches by 6 inches. It's so tiny.
So there's nothing wrong with that. I got a Pokemon skateboard behind that fridge. I'm right at Marshall's level for entertainment.
Yeah, and it's like you guys are saying, dude. His best friend, like seriously, his best friend's 21 years old or 22 years old. It's hilarious. They geek out. He was the family that lived next door. There was a son and daughter, and it was like, oh, can you guys watch Marshall for an hour while we run out? And they just totally got off to video games together. And I'm the guy that's got a side eye. Like, what are you doing hanging out with a fucking 8-year-old dude? But they love video games, and the kid's really respectful. He's a total nerd. He reminds me of you. He like my brother and them took him to a baseball game or something. And he wore a gnome hat, and he's got his long hair. He looks like you.
That's fun.
Yeah. And he's a nerd, but he loves like Minecraft, and is it Roblox?
Yeah, there's that one too. I've never played that one.
Marshall's really into Roblox, so he gets into all that stuff.
That's the kids one for sure.
I got him. I decided to get. Have you seen the Loog guitars? Have you seen those? There's ads for them everywhere.
I've heard of it.
They're 3-string guitars to teach little kids how to play, and I've had my eye on them for a while. They do make a 6-string, and they're smaller, but they look fun. And they came out with a Beatles line, and I was like, "Holy shit! Maybe I should get one of these." They just look like fun, and they come with like a teaching app, and it's all about teaching kids, how to get into getting kids into music and stuff like that. And I was like, "Fuck it!" Now that they got the Beatles one, if you find a picture
Yeah, good luck.
That one right there. I bought
kit.
that for Marshall for Christmas. And I was telling G about it. And G's like, I think it's a great idea. We bought a little mini amp for it. And I paid less than that. I didn't pay that $360
Yeah. Well, it's Canadian
price. Oh, was that Canadian for real?
It was $359 CAD.
Yeah, it was on sale for Black Friday. And so it was like 100 and I think the Lug guitar you can get for like 130.
It looked about 80 to 130 range.
No, they're more than that. They're usually more than that, but on Black Friday they were like 140. They came out with a Fender line, and that's what I had my eye on. Was like, oh, a team up with Fender and Lugan. They had like a Strat, and they had a Telecaster and a Stratocaster body. And I was looking at the Tele. I'm not a fan of the Telecaster as compared to the Strat. The Fender Strat is the shit. When I had one, I had a Les Paul by Gibson, but the Fender Strat is my jam.
I just got a Les Paul today from one of my coworkers who's listening. So shout out to Chris. Thank you for the Les Paul. He just pulled it out of his
Les Paul?
Not a real one, but just one that he had sitting in his basement, collecting dust. It had 2 strings on it. It was all busted up. I'm like, yeah, I can restore this.
What is it? A Mibson?
It's a Gibson, but it's one of the Gibsons that they made in China. It's like the Fender Squire. Technically, it's still a Fender, but it's just the cheaper version.
Right. Okay, I gotcha. Well, so who was it?
It's
Chris?
A cheaper Les Paul.
Chris hooked you up?
Yeah, Chris hooked me up.
There you go, Chris. That's nice. Yep. I'm a big fan of that, by the way. When you're not using musical instruments,
give them to musicians.
Give them to people. One thing about musicians is outside of the ones that are on magazine covers and on TV screens, they're broke. They're broke. And if so I've done that a lot. Hand me down stuff given to guys like, hey, hopefully he gets into it. And so the stipulation was, when this thing just ends up collecting dust in the corner in 3 months, I'm taking it downstairs and I'll play with it because I want to fuck around with it. And it's got little kids like cards for learning easy chords. And the more research I did on it, and I'll let people know if it's bullshit or not, is that you can transfer the 3-string version to a 6-string full size guitar, that you're just filling out the chords when you're using the rest of your hand. So you can still play the chords and stuff like that, where a little kid can do it. And so I'm really interested to see what it's like. So I ended up picking that up for Marshy for Christmas. And but I couldn't help it. I'm like, I'm going with the Beatles one. And I ended up paying an extra $40 just to have the Beatles logo and the Beatles guitar picks, and the kids lesson that comes with is like Beatles songs. And I don't know if it's tablature or I'm pretty sure it's tab. However, their teaching program is, but either way, I'm really excited for to see if he gets into it. All the kids, the niece and nephews have played my electric drums or my real drums when they were like 3 years old. They'd come over, they just want to hit shit.
No, I've got a kid. I've always had a kid, so I know what it's like to have kids come over and immediately flock to the drum kit. Let's make noise.
Yeah, the drums are fun for kids that want to just fucking have all that energy and they just want to beat on shit. That's great.
How I got into it.
Yeah, but dude, I would love it if I could get to a point where I set up my electric kit, because I still have my acoustic set, but it's so loud, and like when I lived alone and had. It's one thing, but here it would be a problem. Yeah. But I still have the Roland TD-27, which is a fucking beast of an electric kit. And if I could set that up and let Marcia use one of my actual amps and plug the Lug into that, because it's the same jack on that guitar as like for a regular guitar chord. And so I've got an amp that'll let you do all kinds of cool shit, distortion. I've got a pedal he can use. And so if I can get him into it, I'll make a little band with him,
That'd be awesome.
I love that stuff. So that I look forward to that. And who knows, maybe it'll just be like, I wanted a mini fridge.
Yeah.
With a fucking,
I wanted a creeper fridge.
Yeah, I wanted a creeper fridge. Who cares about the guitar? Like, who knows? These stupid little humans. But anyways, I'm convinced, man. Like, just find out what you like in life, whether it's, and I don't care if it's video gaming, then go be the best video gamer ever. It's kind of how my dad treated me. He was like, yo, you want to be a rock star? Good. Go do it. Be a rock star. But fucking learn how to play your guitar. And I was like, no, that part sucks. I don't want to do that. That's a lot of work. That's way too much work.
Mine supported me. They were just like, look, you can be a rock star, but have a real job too.
Yeah, I never had a plan B. Thank God I got into radio because I just didn't, it wasn't my thing. So I get it with these kids today, but it's like, dude, you want to be a gamer? Go be a gamer then. Do you want to be a lot of them now, unfortunately, they all want to be podcasters.
Yeah.
That's the jam for all of them. They want to do, they want to do that for a living. And
they want to be YouTubers for the most part.
Yes, that's what I meant. YouTubers. Yeah. They want to be YouTubers. What they're saying is they want to do that job where they play video games and people watch them, which is crazy. Yeah. Good luck. But Marshy's going to have a leg up because he's going to have a studio here that, I'll help him every step of the way if he actually shows genuine interest in it. It's just the way it goes. Anyways, hope everybody's doing well out there. Thank you for joining the show. I should mention I got partway through doing a read for the fine folks at the Deer Lake Athletic Club. I'm sure they're watching us in the bar right now. Shots for Garrett and I, please.
Yes, please.
I really got into this this shot. What is it called? Ball. It's like a whiskey. Co-started. What's that?
You just said Fireball whiskey?
No. It's like rough ball. Fuck. I can't remember. God, I can't believe I'm doing this. He's got like peanut butter vodkas and this other one. And G and I fell in love with it. What is it?
Screwball.
No, not Screwball.
Oh,
no, shit.
Okay.
I never meant to bring it up, but
that's okay.
I'll remember it. But dude, it's the best drink on planet Earth. So if you guys there know this whiskey shot I'm thinking of, it's great. I had to go to some specialty store here to buy it. I couldn't just buy it at the local party store, but it's awesome. So this part of the show is brought to you by the fine folks of the Deer Lake Athletic Club. Deer Lake Athletic Club offers a full gym, fitness classes, 3 pools, even swim lessons, tennis, pickleball, childcare, and more. The Backcourt Restaurant inside the Deer Lake Athletic Club has weekly specials like Taco Tuesday, Quizzo every Wednesday. I'm assuming that's trivia, right? Quizzo?
I think so.
That's what it sounds like.
A phone trivia app thing.
Yeah. Those are fun. Those are actually way more fun than I would have thought in the bars.
Especially when you get to pick your own name.
Yeah, there you go. I've got a new name I'd go with. I probably shouldn't waste it. I don't want people stealing it. Quizzo every Wednesday. Kids meals for just $5 on Thursdays. Live entertainment Fridays and Saturdays. And now they serve breakfast on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. with a Bloody Mary bar and bottomless mimosas. They also offer a special Sunday menu after 1 p.m. while you watch that Lions game. Make your reservation now for Breakfast with Santa in their banquet center on December 15th, or book your own large or small event. Call 248-625-8686 or stop in at 6167 White Lake Road in Clarkston, or visit their website at deerlakeathletic.com for more information. Deer Lake Athletic Club, one club for the whole fam. I'd love to do some sort of meet and greet there whenever I come back to town as well. It's a perfect spot. People get shit faced. There's plenty of room. Yep. Staff is cool as hell. Ownership is cool as hell. I love working with people like that are just decent people and informed people, which is where we'll start off today. House lawmakers released their final comprehensive report on COVID yesterday, detailing how government officials did and about the origins of the pandemic. And to no surprise, the 520-page report from the select subcommittee on the coronavirus pandemic covered everything from school closures to gain-of-function research to Anthony Fauci's leadership, Lord Fauci, yes, St. Fauci's leadership
of
the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. The committee spent 2 years conducting over 30 transcribed interviews, depositions, held 25 hearings and meetings, went over 1 million pages of documents. The The COVID-19 pandemic highlighted a distrust in leadership. Trust is earned, Chair Brad Wenstrup wrote in a letter accompanying the report. Accountability, transparency, honesty, and integrity will regain this trust. A future pandemic requires a whole of America response managed by those who, without personal benefit or bias, we can always do better. And for the sake of future generations, we must. It can be done. I don't know that it can. No. You people showed your asses. I'm almost grateful at this point for this because some of us knew how bankrupt these human beings were that call themselves leadership and use all the buzzwords about just caring about you and no person is above the law, just saying stuff like that and then completely behaving differently. Some of us knew that all along, but a lot of people really had just blanket faith and trust in these institutions that they would do no harm. Yeah. The Hippocratic Oath stands, and we feel the same way as doctors. Do no harm. We're just looking out for the good of you. Well, they weren't. One of the key findings of the report was that COVID likely originated and leaked from a lab, a view that was once banned by Facebook. Yeah, it sure was. Demonetized by Facebook. It was all banned. It got us booted, streams canceled. I remember that. This is now echoed by the Department of Energy. The report said that COVID likely came from a laboratory or research-related accident. Both China and the United States tried to hide facts that might confirm the lab lake theory. The Chinese government, agencies within the U.S. government, and some members of the international scientific community sought to cover up facts concerning the origins of the pandemic. Lawmakers said that Fauci prompted the writing of an academic paper to undermine the lab leak theory in early 2020. That paper was known as the proximal origin of SARS-CoV-2 and argued it was not plausible for the virus to come from a lab. Yeah, that's what they argued. And we got to see all the behind the scenes emails of them talking shit about how stupid the American people were, basically. And we needed to force them to get in line. They never wanted us to see any of that stuff. Just know that they were full of shit on most things.
Yeah.
Most things they were 100% full of shit on.
It was what, a pangolin in a wet market?
Right. Sure. Yeah. Go back and watch the videos from that time and what they were saying about people who even questioned it. The slanderous remarks they made about all of us. Yep. The extent they went to silence critics. You know, if you don't trust Anthony Fauci, you don't trust science. The science. Remember when he claimed the science?
They still claim that.
Yeah, the science. Have you ever heard a more idiotic statement than the science?
I mean, the funniest part is like the whole thing of science, the entire study of science, like they will tell you, number one is just testing theories to see if they work. Like that's all science is. It's just testing different theories to see if they work.
And it changes all the time.
Changes all the time.
There is no the science.
Yeah.
I mean, that's asinine. It's just remarkable.
60, 70 years ago, the science was to put a hole in your head when you're acting crazy.
Yeah, right. You got to let out the demons.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense. This research was facilitated. Lawmakers further concluded that the NIH funded gain-of-function research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Well, that means that Lord Fauci was full of shit in his congressional hearings. So why isn't that guy in prison for lying to Congress and lying to the American people? He absolutely botched AIDS. He is the bad guy in Dallas Buyers Club. Okay. Yeah. The Matthew McConaughey movie, the villain in that movie is based on Lord Fauci, okay? That was the reason the whole country got scared of AIDS the way they did instead of keeping it where it belonged was because of their doing. I was terrified. Wait, I could stick my dick in some chick and get AIDS? No, you couldn't. No, that's not how it worked at all.
Well, not just that. He was telling people that if they shared spoons and stuff, like bowls of cereal with people.
Bowls of cereal with kids, yeah. Terrifying. It was terrifying at the time. That was Lord Fauci's fine work.
That was the science.
The science. Him going back and forth at the time, we were showing clips of this. Him going back and forth with Rand Paul. Absolutely full of shit on his face. Knew he was full of shit. That confirmed by emails between him and Peter Daszak and others. Like that whole thing was falling apart, and half the country called you crazy for it, and all kinds of other slanders names. He's a straight white male, so you couldn't peg him as, like the reason you disagreed with him is because he's gay or he's trans. Some of those things fell apart, but you were a science denier, you were a vax denier, all that kind of garbage. Well, they were full of shit. The NIH absolutely funded gain of function research and then tried to change the definition of gain of function research. And the amount of people that I had fucking text string arguments with about this is mind blowing. Mind blowing. How many smart people bought this shit? You don't even know the level of damage that was done to this country. The trust levels, these kids, and what they'll deal with 10 years from now. Yeah. No idea. These people are bankrupt human beings. Absolutely just fine. Bold-faced lying to you about this stuff. It's unbelievable. This research was facilitated by the EcoHealth Alliance and Peter Daszak, who the government moved to bar from future federal funding earlier this year. The report accused former Governor Andrew Cuomo of medical malpractice, saying that he acted to publicly cover up the total number of nursing home fatalities in New York. The panel previously made a criminal referral against Cuomo for allegedly lying about his knowledge of a report that was used to defend a New York policy that placed COVID patients in nursing homes. Remember when the left told you he was presidential material? Yeah. That's our next president. Vote for that guy. That's the guy we want for president.
Wasn't it his speeches that won him a daytime Emmy?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Did they take that back?
I don't know.
Or does he still have his Emmy? Was that spoken word? I think it was a spoken word Emmy for his press conferences in New York City at the time. I believe that's what it was, but I don't know. I maybe just made that up. See if you can find out. Yep. The report was critical of the Biden administration's vaccine mandate, which was later struck down by the Supreme Court. The lawmakers wrote that the government was currently failing to efficiently, fairly, and transparently adjudicate claims for the COVID-19 vaccine injured. That's another catastrophic story that you're not allowed to know anything about, the vaccine injured. Eat shit, basically, if you were injured by that.
Yep.
Too bad is what they're going to say, because no one will go to prison for this. No one. Fauci should be buried under the prison, but whatever. He's just fine. Retires full pension. He makes more than any of you probably out there. He makes hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. He's the highest paid doctor in the federal government, highest paid federal government person. And
they did take his Emmy away.
They what?
They took his Emmy from him.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I thought I heard that. Yep. Yeah, he did. He lost his Emmy. At one point, They gave him a fucking Emmy for lying to the American public. That was being picked up nationally, by the way.
Yeah.
That was being syndicated across the country.
They gave it to him in 2020, and then in 21, they quietly were like, yeah, no.
Yeah, sorry. We'll take that back. Oh. Sorry about that. You're full of shit. Sorry. They probably took it back because he talk.
Yeah, he talked weird to a woman, and then his brother tried to defend him and lost his job in the process.
Yeah, that's right. He was like, "Hey, Toots, you're looking kind of hot today." Yep. Something like that. I don't think he jammed fingers in anything or groped titties or anything like that.
No.
But I think it was like, "Oh, hot stuff. Look at you smoking over there." Something like that. And then that was enough to run him out of office. Other findings in the report were a shock to no one listening here. Lockdowns of schools caused significant learning challenges for children. Pandemic aid was plagued by fraud and waste. Yeah, billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Lockdowns were overly strict and broad, caused predictable anguish and avoidable consequences. Just a few short years ago, arguing COVID came from a Chinese lab and that lockdowns and authoritarian measures didn't work would get you censored. This report will stand as a warning for future generations of what not to do. The only thing I think they're missing, and I haven't gone through the whole 520-page report, I wish they would have concluded this report, maybe make it 521 pages, and just included, and if you would have listened to TDC podcasts from day one instead of us clowns and officials up here, you would have been keenly aware of all this years ago. You
leaving
would have
some
been
notes.
aware of all this.
Yeah.
They did a fairly good job of in real time telling you what was bullshit and what wasn't, and how full of shit we were. So, they didn't include that in their report, but wishful thinking. The fact that they're
leave them a note. Maybe they'll do it next time. Just say, if you guys really want the info up front, check out this little show.
Yeah, go there. They're doing a little background when they do stuff, and they'll let you know.
Yeah, we
what's
don't know
going
where
on.
they found the information. Somehow they got it right.
Somehow there's a handful of shows out there that were able to find the information and talk to relevant people. We tried to banish them so you couldn't hear them speak words.
Yeah.
That was too dangerous for us up here on our pedestal. But there were some online shows that were kind of all over this and were telling a very consistent story from day one and seeing through the bullshit. Questioning leadership, holding the powerful to account, if you will. Yeah. I don't consider myself to have journalistic standards, but that was kind of easy. This was kind of easy. The other one that's going to be really easy in time is the trans argument that they're trying to make. And I think I think part of it, and it's relevant, with what's going on in the courts tomorrow. The problem that I struggle with, because I'm fully aware, Garrett, of your situation.
Yeah.
I'm fully aware that there are trans people that have been in my orbit, not personal friends really, but in my friend circle, families that have gone through this with a child. So I don't mean to shit on anybody or be disrespectful. I fuck around for a living, so sort of I do that.
There's a difference between disrespect and just saying what should be common sense.
Right. Yes. And where this gets into a wedge for me is adult versus children. It really comes down to that for me. The more I think about it, like, I don't have any problem with you doing whatever you want. But I think it's very dangerous, and it's very hard not to have unbiased work in this area. People that get into fighting these fights tend to be of the same background, and it seems like they have too much dog in the fight to be able to be biased. And for the people that the new talking point is, why are we even talking about this? But boys and girls sports, you're talking about a handful of people.
Yeah, it's so rare.
It's just rare. Why is this even being brought? Well, it's going to the steps of the Supreme Court tomorrow. Okay. One of these things is going to the Supreme Court. Now, if you were all aware of the finer details about what that case involves before the Supreme Court tomorrow, maybe you'd care a little more about it. Maybe you would understand how this kind of all goes together. In my opinion, I don't say I'm right about everything.
Yeah.
But a lot of this seems rather alarming to me. So there's a massive Supreme Court case on child gender transitions. They'll use buzzwords like adolescent,
teenage.
They'll say stuff like, instead of saying kid or child, when they say adolescent, that's what they mean. They try to just kind of minor attracted person.
Yeah. It's just a minor attracted person. He ain't doing no harm.
Yeah. What are you going to do? He's minor attracted. What are you doing?
Just wired weird. Sorry.
Because pedophile seems harsh.
Yeah.
My son grew up. He's now a minor attracted person. Oh, cool.
Sounds good for him.
Oh, wow. That sounds exciting. That's got to be a fun life. He's a minor attracted person. Oh, cool. You would never go, yeah, my son grew up. He's a pedophile now.
Yeah.
So the wording matters in some of these things. There's reasons why they want to change the language and stuff.
Yeah.
So, adolescent child transitions. They're sending a trans lawyer to DC this week to defend transitioning children.
Great.
Chase Strangio. Holy fuck. If you wrote it in a script, people wouldn't believe it. Do we have an image of Chase there? Good old Chase.
Oh, we got a little video of him.
Yeah, we got a video of Chase.
And let me tell you, my fag alarm is screaming.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's like, why are you even if you want to be a man, fine, be a man. Why do you have to be the gayest man ever?
Why do they always?
They're always
have to be the gayest man ever.
I was getting some an oil change, right? And there was a trans male, female to male, working at the oil change place.
Yeah,
gayest looking dude ever came. Hi, thank you for coming in. Oh my god, let me get your oil changed real quick. It's like, you're trying to be a dude, aren't you? Right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing? Because you're not doing a good job.
They're trying to. So what you do to get like Chase is you fucking shoot up the human body with what? Testosterone to critical mass levels. And then you get this patchy fucking like wispy beard, like boy band beard kind of going. They always have the hair. And then you got to have the sleeves of tattoos because that's how mans are. That's how mans behave. Mans are burly and mans like sleeve tattoos.
Yep.
So like that's what you're doing. You're poisoning your body with extreme levels of testosterone to come off like Chase. And then you see Chase in Chase's little sport coat. And it's like, yeah, there's the womanly shoulders and the fucking hips. I get it. You're cosplaying a woman or a man.
Yeah.
But you're coming off like a struggling gay, like should have just been a lesbian. I don't know what to tell you, but they all kind of do have this dude look. And then they're the first ones that talk about like, when you talk them breaking down, like, well, how did this election go south? How did we lose this election? And they'll be like, yeah, it's the broadcasts and the manosphere. We don't
Nazis all over the place.
Not even the Nazis. They're using stuff like they've got their own manosphere and it's like, hold on, let me stop you real quick. No man who's an actual man says stuff like manosphere.
Yeah.
That's a fucking gay little word you've come up with because you come up with gay little words for stuff like that. They're doing these broadcasts. You know who doesn't say broadcasts or manosphere? Actual fucking dudes. Actual dudes don't say stuff like that ever. Like never, ever. So you're looking at it from the wrong way. If you want to come off like an actual man, you wouldn't dress up like this where every man would look at you and go, I don't know if it's a man, but if it is, it's a gay as fuck one.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you're trying to pull off here. Strangio. But
that's a weird one too. Why did they pick that name? Because I know they picked that name.
You think so? You don't think Chase Strangio is his real name?
It's just the Strangio part of it is what's got me. It's like, how
it's a little
real last name. It's a little strange.
Yeah.
It sounds like you were trying to be like a little different, a little extra.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll do first and last because they hate their parents.
You know who's proudly like hanging out in the manosphere and hanging out with Chase Strangio? The Tim Wallses of the world.
Yeah.
Those are the dudes that are like, oh, how do we get into the manosphere? We need to get a podcast crew and be in the manosphere and talk like men.
Well, they already got bad father figures, so that's step one.
Should we hear from Chase?
Yeah, let's hear this gruff, gravelly man.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, this is Chase Strangio. I am a lawyer at the ACLU and I currently represent trans adolescents and their parents and their doctors. Last month, the Supreme Court announced that it was going to hear our case challenging Tennessee's ban on medical care for trans adolescents. The government officials who defend these laws not only falsely claim that our healthcare is harmful and unnecessary, but they are also arguing that the Constitution does not protect trans people in the same way that it protects everybody else. The Supreme Court's ruling in this case will impact government discrimination against trans people more broadly. It will affect healthcare for adults. It will affect access to education and housing and public space. If the court can announce that we are not protected under the Constitution, it can and will do that for everyone. And the movements that are targeting trans people currently are pushing the false narrative that it is harmful to be trans.
It is.
We must stand in defiance of that narrative. We must show them that our existence is a refutation of the lies, that transness is something to be demonized or stamped out of society. Now that we are at the Supreme Court, the stakes could not be higher, and we need your help. We need you to tell your networks about this case. We need everyone, trans and cis, to recognize that our constitutional freedoms are on the line. All of our rights are on the line.
Where in the Constitution does it say thou can transition your child?
Yeah, I don't know. I missed that part.
I did too.
I missed that part, but we need
I feel like I'm like one of the few people who has I feel like I'm one of the few people who sat down and read all the amendments out and stuff just to really learn about it, and I didn't read that part.
No.
Join us in this fight.
Nah.
Join us in this fight. I'm just a man. I'm just a man.
You know what men don't do that I picked up on that video? And adults in general don't do this, especially lawyers. They wear their star sign as an earring. Like, I'm a Scorpio. I'm a Sagittarius.
Oh, God.
I hate that shit.
Yeah. That's another tip off that you're not a real man.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chase. Strangio. You almost had me there.
Yep.
You almost had me there. Just a wisp of a man, too. Just a little wisp of a man. I got a big brain. I'm going to go fight for trans rights in the Supreme Court. It's at the fucking Supreme Court, folks.
Yeah.
Okay? Chase Strangio is a chick who identifies as a dude and the co-director of the ACLU's LGBT and HIV project. Why are those two together, by the way? LGBT and HIV, the HIV and the LGBT people all seem to be in the same group. One is a disease and the other is people. Like, why are those two groups always thrown together?
Probably for the same reason why monkeypox kept showing up on their faces.
Jesus Christ. Monkeypox could hit anyone.
It could hit anybody. It's weird to disproportionately hit one group.
Oh, yeah. Like, you straight men don't have strands of monkeypox littering your face and cheeks. Stop it. Stop it. We all know what that's like, to get a strand, like a pearl necklace of monkeypox across our cheeks.
We've all done it.
So she has undergone trans medical treatments herself, which she has documented on social media, and argues that children should also be able to access gender-affirming care. Every aspect of gender-affirming care that has transformed my life, she told CNN. I'm keenly aware that I want to preserve the ability for other people to access that care. Sure. When they're adults, just like we let them access tattoos, alcohol, guns, lots of things. Lots of things. So I agree with you. I don't want anyone's rights being stripped away, access to care being stripped away. But no.
Here's
something
here's something that they forget is that children don't have rights. Sorry. Yeah. But it's just true. Children have guardians. A doctor can't perform on a child without the guardian's signature. Children don't have rights.
Yeah. When Marshall wants to go on a field trip, he better have his permission slip signed by a parent or a guardian representative. Like, I'm one of the ones that can sign now. I think that's kind of dangerous to leave me in charge.
Yeah, there's not like a 10-year-old in Congress. Like, hold on, I'm going to stand up for the 10-year-olds here. Let me put our point in.
I can't even when he's late. So if his school starts at 9 a.m., which is kind of late to me for schools, but but whatever. Arizona's weird. So if I pull up at 9:01 and they're not out front, like letting all the kids in, I have to take him into the school and put my ID in and sign him in.
Yeah.
As a guardian of this child. That's what I have to do.
Yep.
So, they won't even let him walk in the fucking building without being signed in. For me, it is not about a genderless society. It's about challenging our assumptions about a fixed binary gender and exposing instead what gendered systems do to organize and reinforce power. I think we all have a role to play in being more critical about the operation of gender, not to make everything genderless, but to make a gender site of play, reconstruction, and reimagination. Yeah, but your game that you're talking about here, okay, make gender a site of play, reconstruction, and reimagination. Okay, are you insane? Yeah. Your reconstruction has final world consequences, Chase.
Your reconstruction is about to get a woman killed in a ring.
Or get a kid to never reproduce.
Yeah.
Or never have an orgasm. When the Supreme Court hears oral arguments in United States v. Skermetti on December 4th, tomorrow, Strangio will be the one presenting on behalf of the ACLU. Case deals with Tennessee's law banning irreversible gender transition procedures for kids. And it promises to be one of the most significant the court has looked at this term. Yeah, they think this is the big case in front of the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
If the court rules for Tennessee, children across the United States will be protected from these procedures. Lawmakers throughout the country have enacted more than 24 laws protecting kids from gender-affirming care, and the activist doctors who push these procedures. The ACLU has advertised that Strangio will be the first openly trans-identifying individual to argue a case before the Supreme Court, describing Strangio as our nation's leading legal expert on the rights of trans people, bar none.
Strangio's just happy to be there, so whether it's a win or a loss, Strangio's cool. They're fine.
Yeah.
This is what they wanted, was attention.
Yeah, this is probably going to get lost, but let me be clear about what you're talking about here. So if Strangio wins at the Supreme Court, that would essentially federally protect medically transitioning kids. I don't think it's to the point of cutting dicks off, but you're talking about puberty blockers, hormone.
Gender affirming care such as chest bindings, making them grow differently than they should.
Right. And it goes further. So when you think this can't include you, doesn't matter, it's just a small thing, that would federally protect the right of children to transition nationwide. Meaning if your child was captured in one of these school institutions, right? Because that's where this is happening when kids are desperate for attention, desperate. The shit that Marshall comes up and has to show me from time to time is the dumbest shit on planet Earth, but it's an attention thing. Look what I did. Look at me. Yeah. Please look at me. I'm desperate.
My family used to call me Stuart from Mad TV because I'd always run in the room. Look what I can do.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what he does. He'll make something totally dumb as shit, whatever.
Yeah.
And you got to go, oh, wow, amazing. That's really cool how you did that. So it doesn't surprise me that kids, mostly girls, by the way, fall into this. You find packs of girls in classrooms, depending on where they're being targeted around the country, and gay boys. A lot of gay, what will eventually grow up to be gay men, going down this very, very fucking slippery slope of stuff. So it would mean that parental rights to say no to your child would be gone.
Yeah.
And at that point it would make it so that the state could step in and take your kid. You think that's crazy? It happened in California. We did the story a couple weeks ago about that father who was basically saying goodbye to his sons. What they're doing is these parents are moving across state lines where this sort of thing is accepted. Fuck what mom says or fuck what dad says, whatever. And plowing through and you know, the Gavin Newsoms of the world are bragging about how they're doing this. And so, you know, that's what's on the line here, though, is federally recognized protections. Now, my guess is the Supreme Court's going to go, get the fuck out of here, Strangio. That you know, this sort of behavior has led to losing of the presidency, the House, the Senate, the popular vote, the Supreme Court. But people need to get in line. You should be aware that this story is going on. This fight is going on, and you're not aware that it's going on.
Yeah.
Unless you're listening to shows like this or many others online, you're really not that aware of this, or it's framed in a way like, oh my God, it's framed in a way that makes it seem like this is harmless, reversible, which it's not.
No.
And
how is stunting the growth of somebody reversible?
Right.
Like, are they just going to suddenly grow again? I mean, I know some people are like, yeah, once you take them off the puberty blockers, they just start growing like normal and they do puberty later. That has extreme ramifications for the rest of that person's life.
Of course it does.
If their brain's fully developed by 25, what happens if they spent those 10 years from like 15 to 25 on a blocker?
Yeah. And then they'll point out that, you know, the research isn't, the science isn't settled on this, blah, blah. It's because you've only been doing it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
That's why you don't have long-term results. So instead of just saying that, like, we've only been fucking with your kids for a few years, they're essentially our Dr. Frankensteins at this point. We don't know really what the long-term ramifications are of just hitting a young girl's body with massive amounts of testosterone. We don't know, because there's no other society on earth that would ever do that to their kids. And so we're breaking the mold now and doing that. for the first time in human history. And so, give us a few decades and then we'll let you know what our final findings are. So it's a little dangerous.
Yeah.
And how you know that this is an issue is stories like this one in the New York Times that, it came out in October of this year. A doctor, an advocate of adolescent gender treatments, and this is the New York Times article, right? And this isn't Fox News.
Yeah.
Said she has not published a long-awaited study on puberty-blocking drugs because of the charged American political environment. Yep. Oh, okay. So Garrett, let me ask you. So that sentence there, this influential doctor, advocate for adolescent gender, again, child gender treatments, said she has not published a long-awaited study of puberty-blocking drugs because of the charged American political environment. So let me ask you this question, Garrett. If the results went in the way that she wanted those results to go, do you think she still would have withheld findings? No. Would she hold those back because of the politically charged nature in this country?
No, if it was on her side, it would be more of a boost for my argument. So,
do you think this would be plastered all over mainstream media as what a giant success? Thank God we've done this research and now we have the evidence.
Yeah.
But this doctor is telling you we're withholding this evidence because it's politically charged environment these days. See how that works?
It would lead credence to the opposite opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
It might throw a wrench into your argument, Dr. Johanna Olson Kennedy. She began the study in 2015 as a part of a broader multi-million-dollar federal project on trans youth. She and colleagues recruited 95 kids from across the country and then just stuffed them full of puberty blockers, which stave off the permanent physical changes like titties or a deepening voice that could exacerbate their gender distress, known as dysphoria. Yeah. Researchers followed the children for 2 years to see if the treatments improved their mental health. An older Dutch study had found that puberty blockers improved well-being. Results that inspired clinics around the world to regularly prescribe medications as part of what is now known as gender-affirming care. That's how this started.
Great.
But the American trial did not find a similar trend. Dr. Olson Kennedy said in a wide-ranging interview, puberty blockers did not lead to mental health improvements. She said most likely because the children were already doing awesome.
No, they were not.
They're in really good shape when they come in, and they're in really good shape after 2 years.
Oh, they're in such good shape that every time they look in a mirror, they hate themselves and want to change everything about themselves. That's great. That is healthy. That's
super healthy.
I've gotten into a recent thinking that there are two different types of trans people. There's actual trans people like Marina who just, I'm not going to get too much into her medical. Yeah, they're leave me alone. And with her medical history and stuff, she kind of, her body never developed like a man.
Yeah.
Is what it is. And she transitioned. It's been going great for her. Everything's awesome.
Yeah.
And then there's the people, and this is the camp I fell in, where they just were depressed and got convinced of something for attention and likes and thinking it was the cool thing. Hey, you know what? I hate myself right now. I'm depressed. I don't like myself. Let me change this to a way that people like it.
I had a kid over here over the weekend, cousins of Marshall's, and 11 years old and 7 years old, two kids, great kids, fucking amazing. Had a great, G and I were bringing in some stuff from the store and pulled up to the front of the house, and we're bringing stuff in. This kid comes over and he's like, "Hey, do you and Uncle Greg need help with that?" And I'm like, "What fucking 10-year-old, 11-year-old asks if he can help?" And then he sticks out his hand. He goes, "By the way, I'm so-and-so." And I'm like, "Yeah, buddy, I haven't seen you in a couple of years, but good to see you again." He's like, "It's great to see you." He's wearing military fatigues. Can't wait to join the military when he gets older, when he grows up.
Kid.
Yeah, he's one of those kids.
He's one of those ROTCs.
But then he immediately, downstairs, I'm sitting here. And so they stayed the weekend. And so they're playing games, they're all kinds of stuff. And just the neatest kids in the world, just normal, well-adjusted, polite kids. It's what you hope to see, you know? And he comes up to me, he goes, "Hey, Mike, guess what?" And I was like, "What's that, buddy?" And he's like, "Yeah, I was recently diagnosed with ADHD." And I was like,
"Cool.
Okay.
You and everybody else.
Yeah. Let me guess. They're putting you on a bunch of drugs, are they? Yeah, I've got ADHD. And it's like, yeah, okay.
You gave the kid meth. Good job.
Yeah. I've been around you for 48 hours now, and I haven't seen anything that would lead me to believe you have ADHD, son. I'm sorry. I know that's what they want to do, is just pump you full of fucking garbage. Yeah. It's criminal. We all remember that kid that was like, something's off there. Something's off there in their development. Something's going on. It was probably the Big E's of the world. There was a lot of
that kid.
Yeah, maybe. I doubt it. You seem like a normal.
In 2014, I actually did get doctor diagnosed with autism, and I have to tell people that it's doctor diagnosed because every Instagram bio will look at, I'm autistic.
I don't buy that either. I think it's a spectrum. We're all on the spectrum at some point, and some of us lean a little more this way, that way. When you talk about medical interventions from childhood, you're talking about something that requires lifetime of medical care to keep on top of. Who knows what it's doing to their little developing systems. My point is, here's a very friendly, happy, well-adjusted kid, and he's bragging. He's recently diagnosed. It's like, I don't know what was said in a doctor's meeting. Like, oh yeah, he seems to not have attention when he's reading this boring as shit book. Like, yeah no shit. Most of us didn't. Like, no, thank God they didn't just. The first remedy is to just load them full of drugs. And I'm not saying that's what's going on here. Maybe he's not taking anything.
That's something they did to me for a minute, and I got myself off them. Yeah, I was like, I hate this.
They also told you were trans too.
Yeah, well, doctors didn't say that one. That was mostly me and the people I was talking to.
Yeah, all the people
I never did any medical transitioning, and that's why I was able to just go, hold up, I'm actually just, I have a different problem I need to figure out. Hold on.
Yeah. Imagine if they didn't let your mom intervene and take a few steps and slow things down.
I was an adult.
Because she actually cared about you. And if you were underage and the state just said, we'll take him from here.
Yeah. Like I'd probably be dead right now. Because that's the funny thing about trans people. Like, well, if we don't transition them, they're going to kill themselves. They're not going to feel okay, and they're just going to kill themselves. So you see the suicide rates in trans. Why is it that now that trans is more accepted than ever and people are trying to transition kids all the time, the suicide rate's been getting higher? It's not going down. It's going up. It's because you're transitioning a lot of people who just probably have depression and need some help.
Yeah. Yeah. And are getting acceptance on a level they've never seen before for their bravery.
Yeah. For being trans when it's not what they are.
So this doctor that's leading this in this New York Times article, it says that, they're in really great shape when they come here and they're in really great shape when they leave. So that's why there's not a lot of change there. We didn't find that there was a lot of benefit to it because they were already awesome. Well, that conclusion seemed to contradict an earlier description of the group in which Dr. Olson Kennedy herself and her colleagues noted that a quarter of the adolescents were depressed or suicidal before treatment.
Yeah.
So which is it, Doc?
Yep.
They were all awesome.
And those are probably the ones you shouldn't transition. They're the ones you should probably get help for depression first. And if they get their help, they learn some coping mechanisms, they kind of get a control on it and how to be happy with themselves.
Yep.
If they still want to transition and they're an adult, by that point, go ahead.
Yeah.
Then you're trans.
In the 9 years since the study was funded by the National Institutes of Health, Dr. Olson Kennedy's team has not published the data. Asked why, she said the findings might fuel the kind of political attacks that have led to bans of the youth gender treatments in more than 20 states, one of which will soon be considered by the Supreme Court, meaning tomorrow. So think about that. Why haven't you published your findings? Over 9 years and millions of dollars in research. Well, the findings might fuel the kind of political attacks that have led to bans. Think about that statement. In other words, the results are clear and they don't go in our favor.
You know, it kind of sounds to me like they don't trust the science.
Yeah. And they're just fine burying that and saying nothing to see here.
Yeah.
I don't want our work to be weaponized. It has to be exactly on point, clear and concise, and that takes time. Unless it can be weaponized in the other direction, is what she means.
Yeah.
Because if these results, think about it, be honest with yourself. If they even had minuscule results that trended in a direction that said what they're doing to these children is a fucking huge win, even in the early stages, you don't think that would be everywhere?
Yeah, it'd be page
then
one of
you're
everything.
part of the problem too. You're insane.
Yep.
She knows if we just give honestly the American public the results that our study is finding, it would be weaponized against us. Yeah, it would be a problem for the cause of transing these kids.
Yeah.
She said she intends to publish the data, but the team has also been delayed because the NIH had cut some of our funding. Oh, the broader project has received about $10 million in government support to date. So the $10 million wasn't enough. And they're trimming. So that's why we can't release the results, because they've trimmed some of our funding. Dr. Olson Kennedy is one of the country's most vocal advocates of child. Okay, don't fall for the adolescent thing. Child gender treatments, and has served as an expert witness in many legal challenges. She said she was concerned the study's results could be used in court to argue we should not use blockers because it doesn't impact them. Doesn't impact kids. Other researchers were alarmed by the idea of delaying results that would have immediate implications for families around the world. I understand the fear of it being weaponized, but it's really important to get the science out there, said Amy Tishelman, a clinical and research psychologist at Boston College, who was one of the study's original researchers. Dr. Tishelman also noted that even if the drugs did not lead to improvements, they may have prevented some. They may have prevented some kids from getting worse. Okay, so you don't have what it says that it helped, but hold on, but just because we don't have proof that it helped anybody, what if they would have been way worse without them then? Okay.
Yeah.
I see what you did there. That's cute.
Yeah.
So no change isn't necessarily a bad thing. Marina,
she approves of this conversation. We have a trans person in support.
Yeah. Thank you, Marina. I all mad love and respect. Seriously. This is the argument is not about the Marinas of the world. Unfortunately, the Marinas of the world get gummed up in this through no fault of their own and weaponized against them. These you cannot look at these things as anything but nuanced. They are fucking nuanced. The problem is children in this.
Yeah.
In the 90s and 2000s, doctors in the Netherlands began studying a small group of children who had experienced intense gender dysphoria since early childhood. For most of these children, the negative feelings dissipated by puberty. For others, puberty made them feel worse. So for most of these children, so not a few of these children, not some of these children, most.
Yeah. And
this shit relieved itself as they got older and went through puberty.
Yeah.
For those who struggled, the researchers began prescribing puberty blockers. The Dutch scientists reasoned that by preventing the permanent changes of puberty, trans kids would fare better psychologically and fit in more comfortably in society as adults. So, England's Youth Gender Clinic in 2011 tried to replicate the Dutch's results with a study of 44 children. But at a conference 5 years later, the British researchers reported that puberty blockers had not changed volunteers' well-being, including rates of self-harm, which was the big argument. What do you want these kids to kill themselves? Well, of course, nobody wants that.
No.
What are you, insane? Why would I want any kid to harm himself?
Never.
The results were not made public until 2020. So they knew the results in 2011, and then they didn't release those. So they knew what was going on in 2011. God knows how many families went through this with their children, knowing that it wasn't going to improve their mental health or anything like that. And then those results came out in 2020, years after puberty blockers had become the standard treatment for kids in England that had gender dysphoria.
Yeah.
In 2020, Olson Kennedy's group described the initial psychological profile of the children enrolled in the U.S. study of puberty blockers, whose average age was 11 before receiving the drugs. The group reported depression symptoms and significant anxiety, and one corner reported even having thoughts of suicide. 8% reported a past suicide attempt. Dr. Olson Kennedy outlined her hypothesis of how the children would fare after 2 years on puberty blockers. They would show decreased symptoms of depression, anxiety, trauma symptoms, self-injury, suicidality, and increased body esteem and quality of life over time. That hypothesis does not seem to have borne out. They have good mental health on average, Olson Kennedy said in the interview with the New York Times. When asked follow-up emails to clarify how the children could have good initial mental health when her preliminary findings had showed 1/4 of them struggling, Dr. Olson Kennedy said that she was referencing data averages, and we're still analyzing the full data set. Nothing to report yet, in other words. I need more money. Just give me more money. Her report found weak evidence. Let's see. Dr. Hilary Cass, we'll go out on this one. Dr. Hilary Cass, a pediatrician who this year published an extensive review of youth gender services in England, said the delays from the American and British research groups had led the public to believe that blockers improved mental health, even though scant evidence backed up that conclusion. It's really important we get the results out there so we understand whether it's helpful or not and from whom. Her report found weak evidence for puberty blockers and noted some risks, including lags in bone growth and fertility loss in some patients. It prompted the NHS, the National Health Service in England, to stop prescribing the drugs outside of a new clinical trial following similar pullbacks in several other European countries. The NIH spokesperson said that while the agency generally encourages the publication of data supported by its grants, researchers decide how and when to do so. So you mean the trans ideologues, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones that are doing the study, and they're the ones that get to decide when it's released. That seems fair.
Probably the ones who, when the kid shows up to their little appointment to get reviewed or whatever every so often, are like, oh my God, you look wonderful today. Everything looks like it's going great, and you are so strong for this. And that kid feels great for that.
Of course.
So I bet his mental health is awesome after those appointments.
Of course. I mean, you do it with your kids every day. Like Marshall brings a plate, he eats, and then he brings a plate to the dishwasher. And I make a point of going, hey, buddy, I'm really proud of you for that. That was great.
He's doing better than me right now.
Thank you. Yeah. But the point is, hold on, dude. The point is larger in that when a kid behaves like that and does something as fucking toddler-esque as taking a plate after eating toast to the sink, it means they thought of someone other than themselves. Fuck it, I'm done. Bye. That's what a kid thinks like. And so you need to go, good boy. That was really good, Marshall. Good job. Thank you for thinking of someone other than yourself. Thank you for not thinking of us as your fucking maids. Thank you for not thinking we're all just mommy here to pick up after you. Thank you for doing something showing a little maturity there, buddy, and cleaning up after yourself, even a tiny, tiny bit. That's the level that so many of these, you're talking about 11-year-olds, 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
That's what they need at that level. So we don't put these kind of decisions in their hands. Dr. Olson Kennedy's collaborators have also not yet published data they collected on how puberty blockers affected adolescents' bone development. In other words, that's not good news either, is what that means. If it made your bones stronger for some fucking weird reason, believe me, they'd be bragging about it.
Well, Cord put a good point up there.
What's that?
Cord made a good point about making your bones stronger. It's like football teams should give out puberty enhancers to play football better.
Yeah, there you go.
That's how it works, right?
Too many bone breaks.
Yep.
And you don't want that. Trust me. When they say stuff like that, it affects you a lot when you get older. When you get to my age, it's a problem. When you have weak bones, when you have diabetes, you have bone loss, the type of stuff they're talking about means that, you know, the smallest of injury, it can be catastrophic. They can't do implants on my teeth because of bone loss, probably due to, type 2 diabetes. Like, it's a fucking problem. You don't want little kids fucking around with these sort of things. Like, little bit of bone loss. No, it's a problem. It's a real problem for a developing body. 2 of the 315 patients, by the way, died by suicide, a rate much higher than the general pop. So I wrote down here, identify is the key in so much of this. how I feel versus medical intervention, right? So give me a second. If you're, if you're, it doesn't matter. I feel like some of these radical activists, these ideologues, these Dr. Olson Kennedys who are just, they're so on the team. Like, this is why they do double-blind placebo studies, right? To remove the biases that are inherent in all of us out of these things. You have to remove those. And so it's like, does this drug work? Well, we're going to do blind studies where the doctor doesn't know who got the real one. So you can't lean it one way or the other. If you really want to do the hard science involved and really know what's going on, you have to be willing to do those sort of studies. And when you have radical ideologues, trans fanatics, it's impossible not to argue your side and look for any sliver of the best news possible. And if it doesn't go your way, you bury it. You bury it. That's what they do. Yeah. That's not being transparent. That's not being honest. And you're fucking with people's lives. That's really, these people are too close to the work to give an unbiased opinion. I don't know if Chase Strangio is, I don't know what their mental well-being is. I have no idea. Maybe this is perfect in his world. Maybe it worked out perfect for him. He's as happy as can be. Maybe, but there's a lot of fucking people that aren't, that it's an absolute fail for. And you don't speak for everybody.
Yeah.
And you're not taking into account, you want everybody in the team on board.
Yeah. It's like, even trans being as accepted and big as it is now, it's still, I think we looked up 1.4 to 3% of the population identifies as trans in some way.
Yeah.
That's still such a small number.
Yeah, it is. But the problem to me isn't the number. It's just knowing that,
exactly. And
it's how many of those are going to be Chloe Cole.
Yeah.
How many of them are going to be Chloe Cole that are going to grow up a little bit? When you find that in that Dutch study, I think it was the Dutch one, that the majority of those people having those feelings when they went through puberty, they resolved themselves.
Yeah.
That tells me something. That tells me you're willing to destroy the majority of those people for the benefit of the couple maybe that really did need it. And a lot more work needs to go into figuring out how to decipher between the two. That's the problem. I'm looking at people like Admiral Rick Levine, Rachel Levine, right? Admiral Levine, 4 stars on the sleeve. 4 stars on the sleeve. Pushing this shit all the time. All the time. It's like that this assistant to the HHS for this country, Admiral Rachel Levine, what a warrior, what a champion. Rick is a father, okay, of multiple children. All right. Rick went through this at 52 years old. I have no problem with that. Rachel wants it. You want me to call you Rachel? You want to wear a skirt to work? That's fine. So Admiral Rachel Levine. And I was like, okay, unlike military admirals in the Navy or Coast Guard, her responsibilities are centered on health policy and public health initiatives, not military operations. Oh, okay. So I was like, well, what does that mean, Admiral Levine, right? For her part. In the military, the rank of admiral is one of the highest positions within naval forces, signifying significant leadership and responsibility. Admirals are typically responsible for overseeing large fleets, operational commands, or strategic planning at the highest levels. So you've got Rear Admiral, which is like a 1-star admiral. You've got a 1-star officer, 2-star officers, a vice admiral, 3-star. An admiral is equivalent to a general in the Army, Air Force, Space Force, and Marine Corps. Admirals are appointed by the President of the United States, confirmed by the Senate, and often have decades of experience in naval operations. Admirals may command entire fleets or major naval regions. They often play roles in shaping national defense policies. For example, the Chief of Naval Operations, the CNO, is a 4-star admiral. Admiral Rachel Levine's rank in the U.S. Public Health Service is honorary in its title within the uniformed services, focused on health, whereas military admirals directly command naval forces and operations. So what that means is, so Rick Levine is a 4-star admiral, like Rachel Levine is a woman.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's about how I see it.
Yeah. That's what you have there. So as we're addressing her as Admiral Levine, 4-star Admiral Levine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in fucking cosplay only. She's not a real admiral. Any more than she's a real woman. Sorry,
I've always heard
Rick.
the joke, and it's one of my favorite jokes too, where it's like, Bruce Jenner won all the awards. Caitlyn Jenner didn't do shit.
Yeah.
So I think we should not honor Caitlyn as a celebrity, because Caitlyn's just a regular trans person who's going about their life.
Yeah.
Bruce Jenner was the Olympian.
Yeah. And nobody has a problem with her.
No.
You know,
Nobody really cares.
Whatever. She's probably going to win she's probably going to run for the governorship of California.
I give her a lot of credit for doing the whole trans thing and then totally blowing it out of the water that she ran somebody over. Like,
yeah.
That's when you transition.
I give her credit for having the balls to stand up against those things, and literally having the balls to stand up against
the big swing
the narrative. Yeah. You know, like, and you know what? I believe Bruce.
Yeah.
I believe it. I believe it with Bruce Jenner. When you talk about the struggle that Caitlyn Jenner went through from childhood on, like, I don't doubt that story. It probably led to him. The fight probably led to the work that went into becoming the decathlete that he did, worthy of Wheaties boxes and gold medals and country representation, running from something, fighting for something, working as hard as he did. There's probably a tie-in with all that. And Caitlyn Jenner is probably an absolutely genuine transgendered human being. And I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, no, a good sign that somebody's genuinely trans is they will approach you and go, yeah, I'm a trans person. They won't try and say, like, I'm a woman, you have to respect me as a woman. No, they will tell you, like, no, I'm a trans person. It's whatever. That's a genuine trans person. They're just like, listen, man, I'm not trying to start problems here. It's just, this is my life. This is what I do.
Yeah. Well, the election a few weeks ago changed a lot. It was kind of a mandate being set down, like, enough of a lot of this shit. So a lot of people are kind of pulling back. It's fascinating to watch, to be honest with you. With some of these people, I just can't get over it. Jaguar is still, you know, they're fighting the good fight. But who was it? Cenk Uygur has changed on this, which is hilarious. I'll read his tweet in a second. But J.K. Rowling wasn't going to let this stand. She blasted in the New York Times on Monday for the rewriting of history about trans activists, vicious attacks, while she outlined just how much she and others have suffered for speaking out for girls and women. And this is the danger in all this to me, too. Rowling posted a screenshot of a Times article that suggests these trans activists are going to have to moderate their unsparing criticism of those who disagree with them ever since Democrats lost the 2024 election, and Americans are increasingly disagreeing with the trans agenda. The rewriting of history begins, Rowling wrote. Opponents of gender ideology haven't merely endured unsparing criticism. I haven't simply been told I betrayed real feminism or received a few book burning videos. I've been sent thousands of threats of murder, rape, and violence. A trans woman posted my family's home address with a bomb making guide. My eldest child was targeted by a prominent trans activist who attempted to dox her and ended up doxing the wrong young person. I could write a 20,000-word essay on what the consequences have been to me and my family, and what we've endured is nothing compared to the harm done to others. By standing up to a movement that relies on threats of violence, ostracization, that's a tough word, and guilt by association, all of us have been smeared and defamed, but many have lost their livelihoods. Some have been physically assaulted by activists. Female politicians have been forced to hire personal security on advice of police. The news that one of UK's leading endocrinologists, Dr. Hilary Cass, was advised not to travel by public transport for her own safety should shame everyone who let this insanity run amok. Yeah. Now that the political landscape has shifted, some who've been riding high on their own supply are waking up with a hell of a hangover. They've started wondering whether calling left-wing feminists who wanted all-female rape centers, calling them Nazis, they're wondering now if that was such a smart strategy. Maybe parents urging that boys ought not to be robbing their daughters of sporting opportunities might sort of have a point. Possibly letting any man who says, I'm a woman, into the locker room of a 12-year-old girls could have a downside after all. Eventually, a reckoning is coming. Mealy-mouthed retconning of what has actually happened over the past 10 years is predictable, but will not stand. I don't doubt those who have turned a blind eye to the purges of non-believers or even applauded and encouraged them would rather minimize what the true cost of speaking out was. But yes, maybe trans activists went a little over the top at times. Takes are frankly insulting. A full reckoning on the effects of gender ideology on individuals, society, and politics is still a long way off. But I know this. The receipts will make very ugly reading when that time comes, and there are far too many of them to sweep politely under the carpet.
Yeah.
Boom.
That
bitch isn't fucking around.
Oh, no, she's been on fucking fire recently. Like, her pinned tweet on top of her profile is one of my favorite things ever. It's really quick. Let me find it.
Yeah. She's great, man.
It's
again, I give her credit. That's hard. It's very hard to stand up in the face of a bully. It's hard for everybody to stand up in the face of a bully, and it's nothing short of bullying that's going on.
Her pinned tweet is somebody tweeted at her and said, "You're a stupid and horrible woman. My kids and I enjoyed burning your books and roasting marshmallows over your pathetic books." To which she replied, "I get the same royalties whether you read them or burn them. Enjoy your marshmallows." I love it. That's the attitude.
Yeah. These people are hilarious. You know, when I talked about Anna Kasparian.
I'll show you.
Yeah. Ooh, I'll get you. I'm going to buy all your books so I can burn all of them.
Okay.
Great strategy.
Thanks for the money.
Thanks for the royalty check. I appreciate it. Hopefully you buy millions of copies of Harry Potter.
You should check out the next Harry Potter movie too and then yell at the screen.
Yeah. Scream at it. Throw your brick through it.
Yep.
That's cool. Yeah. It's hilarious. These, like Anna Kasparian, who's kind of coming out of the fog and like, oh man, maybe it was a bad idea calling everybody who disagreed with me a Nazi. Maybe that was, maybe these aren't my mortal enemies. Maybe they have some good points they're bringing up, and maybe people are learning that the people I believed in were lying to me.
You think
across the board?
Dragged Cenk out of the hole?
Yeah, Cenk, it's too bad because I used to watch the Young Turks at times. I wanted to see what the left wing was talking about, and they would bring up some good points, and it was rational. And then 2016 they went into fucking Hitler, and everybody who disagrees with me is mega, and we need to get them all on watch lists. Like that whole thing, the damage done by Cenk Uygur personally is not for nothing. It's not. So to see Cenk tweet out yesterday, I've been trying to figure out why I'm more optimistic now than I was before the election. Even though I was so against the guy who won, I know now MAGA is not my mortal enemy, and neither is the extreme left. Well, I don't know if I'd go that far, Cenk.
Yeah.
My mortal enemy is the establishment, and they have been defeated. Okay, so a paycheck dried up is what that sounds like. Whatever billionaire was funding the Young Turks the last few years must have stopped the funding. So
hey, I'll take funding from anybody.
Yeah.
I'm middle of the road now.
That the damage caused by shows like that, by mainstream media, and then the Cenk Uygurs, Young Turks of the world is borderline unforgivable. It's borderline unforgivable. The lies that were told, the slander that went on, it's incredible to me. So he continues, it's not just that the establishment candidate lost, it's their media is mortally wounded. Yeah, one that was in your fucking pocket for years, Cenk.
Yeah.
Are you even serious right now? The source of their strength was not insipid politicians like Mitch McConnell and Joe Biden. The source of their strength was their propaganda machine, the mainstream media. No shit. Yeah. Now, online media is strong enough that their oppressive monopoly on the American mind has been broken. Now we're in the jungle. They hate that. I love it. This uncontrolled marketplace of ideas where I'm home. I'd rather be in the populist woods than in an establishment prison. You were the mouthpiece for the establishment, Jenk.
Yeah.
It felt like you were getting CIA and FBI talking points daily. You were spewing so much garbage and so much falsehoods through COVID, through Russiagate, through President Trump, all of it. Like,
the good news is
I don't even know what to make
of
it.
Kind of on them.
What's that? Are they beating him up?
A little bit. They're, I'm glad you're realizing this. However, it would have been much more impactful with this message if you realized it before November 5th. Nonetheless, I pray you wake up and realize you've been wrong on so many other things also.
Yeah.
They're kind of holding them to the fire. Like, listen, buddy, you're kind of part of this whole fucking mess.
The good thing for them is, I am starting to believe that woke, whatever it is, or hard left is almost a replacement for a religion. And the troubling part of it all is that and other people have made this point, not me, but that it's a religion without redemption.
Yeah.
So the good thing about if you talk about Christianity, and I've been very clear about, I haven't been to church since I was 12. I'm open to a lot of things, but that's kind of the thing that binds it all together is forgiveness and redemption, and without that aspect of it, like, you disagree with me, you must be a transphobe, you're hateful, like, finish his career, make sure he never earns $1 again, demonetize. Like, there is no redemption in that argument. There's no forgiveness. There's no, like, turning the other cheek. The lucky thing for Cenk is it's not the other side that's doing that. What Anna found was when she came out and said stuff like, holy shit, I may have been wrong about a lot of this. She felt nothing but love and open arms from people going, congratulations for finally seeing it for what it is.
That's kind of the whole comments are like, listen, you fucked up a lot. You got a lot of work to do, but welcome. Yeah. It is that.
You wouldn't get that, I fear, on the other side so much. No, there always were legitimate arguments about Russiagate. In fact, that was just on its face nonsense. Yeah. COVID, so much of COVID, the mandates, the vaccine, so much of it was garbage on its face. And it was worthy of open discussion. It was, the trans argument is worthy of open discussion. It is. It's worthy of, like, hey, wait a minute, hold on. We need to go to great lengths to protect the unprotectable and look out for them as best we can. And when you're talking about that fractional percentage that maybe we need some sort of medical intervention, like, that's got to be the last resort of last resorts.
Yeah.
When you've gotten to a point where, in your desperation to help people, that's the only conclusion you can come to, and everybody kind of agrees, like, yeah, we're at that point, then so be it. But you need to be able to have that conversation, especially when you're talking about kids. You just do. Are there more comments there?
No.
Are they all kind of the same thing?
Mostly the same.
Did you see?
Sarcastic, having fun.
Yeah, I imagine. But he's in a lucky spot where he'll be able to he'll go unscathed for this. He will have essentially been able to slander and trash everybody for 10 years and then just kind of come out of the cloud and be welcomed back into society by those forgiving, redemption-filled people. He just will. Anna's finding that out, and Cenk will find that out too. People are going to bust his balls. People are going to go, yeah, nice job, dickhead. But they will welcome him back, Yeah. The other side needs to look in the mirror and see if that's true also. That you can have a dispute with someone, you can have questions, and it doesn't make you a monster.
Yeah.
That I don't know that that's true. I don't.
That's honestly, it's been the entire problem with a lot of politics recently. It's just not being able to talk to each other. We all just want to fight.
Yeah.
It's the drop of a hat. The moment somebody says something different, your hands are up.
Should we play the Apple commercial, the new Apple commercial? Did you see this? I saw this. I think it aired during one of the football games I was watching.
Yeah.
And I was, part of me goes, oh, Jesus Christ, fucking we're catering to the deaf now with our headphones. Holy shit. What are we doing?
What are they going to do with headphones? No,
but this is it. I got to admit, man, I finally sat down and watched the commercial and like really paid attention because my natural reaction is like, oh, eye roll. I've seen so many of these, you know, where it's like panderous to one small
what was it?
Group.
Google with the blind guy last time.
Is that what it was? Is there one?
Yeah, it was like Google with their
like.
Yeah, no, it was like their phone could like be perfect for blind people because it speaks to you and it'll like take a selfie and you could take a selfie of yourself and it would let blind people take photos of themselves and tell them that they're in frame.
Yeah. Well, no, this is interesting because at first I saw this new Apple spot and some of you may have seen it. It's called Heartstrings. And it's really good. It's really well done. But my first thought was an eye roll because for years we've been watching these like cater to some small group. You know, Barbie's going to come out with a one-legged Barbie doll and a wheelchair. And you're just like, oh, God, who are you fucking, you know, Black Santa in the wheelchair, you know, at Christmas.
The best Santa.
The best one of all. I mean, I had 10 of them. Yeah, this one is getting a lot of praise. It's for the AirPods Pros 2 hearing aid feature. Viewers say it's the perfect antidote to woke advertising, which has become far too commonplace. The Pro Family ad called Heartstrings is making many viewers emotional instead of portraying the family patriarch as a fool. This ad puts the father with hearing loss center of a message, depicts a loving family in addition to promoting a product. So I watched it finally. I sat down and just watched the 2-minute video and I was like, yeah, it was pretty good.
All right, well, I'm going in blind, so.
Okay.
Let's see what we got.
We got it last week.
I think I know what it is. Are you serious? Oh, guys, thank you. The color that you wanted. I'm so happy. How did you know this was
I'm dead. Can't hear shit. Oh, there she is as a 5-year-old. Oh, yeah, look at her.
I got the moon.
John, listen.
Bitch, I'm deaf. I can't.
Oh, he's getting his AirPods out.
Light the fire. You place the flowers in the vase that you bought today.
Another guitar.
I'm so excited. Here you go. Haley.
Happy birthday. Look at the picture of me and you, Daddy. Look at the moon.
House.
Daddy, tickle me. I am a robot. What is that?
See ya.
Everything is easy 'cause of
I love you, Papa.
you.
Well done.
That's great. Family photos. You're crying, Garrett, not me.
I've cried.
Dude,
I'll cry like a bitch at
it's-
shit.
That's a dangerous ad.
Yeah.
It's
And
dangerous.
that's a good ad, too. I like that they showed a man crying and it wasn't like he's a bitch. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, any
No.
man would at that point.
I'll tell you what you had in this commercial, which makes it unique. And like, that's what commercials used to do really well. Coca-Cola had some great ones over the years like that, you know, kind of at the holiday season or something, they'd come out with some traditional family thing and the whole country would be talking about it. And, you know, this one stands out. You have a white mom and a white dad, a white daughter, no trans brother in the background, no lesbian sister in the shot. We didn't see her black boyfriend walk into the scene.
Yeah, there's no crippled kid running around.
Dad appears to be able to not only find, but turn on and insert his own earbuds, which is, you know, doesn't need to go, honey, what do I do with this? The commercial doesn't end with the lesbian daughter and her girlfriend attempting in vain to teach dad how to throw a football in the yard, you know, which is kind of the way these commercials usually go. There's some bumbling fool of a dad who can't find a fork in the drawer without his wife. And there's the whole family, you know, the the black stepchild, the wheelchaired daughter with some syndrome, and their newly trans neighbor coming over for holidays, all laughing at the stupid white guy who can't find his keys. I don't know what I'm doing here. How did I get here? I don't know how to drive. I wish my daughters would teach me how to drive a car.
Yeah.
I'm basically retarded. I don't know how to do anything. So this does kind of break the mold. And I hope Apple feels the love from people going, wow, that was refreshing. You showed just kind of a family. It could have been a black family. Could have absolutely could have been a black family.
Would have been the same ad. As long as you rate that same, it could have worked.
Yeah. When was the last time you saw a commercial with a white mom, white dad, white daughter at Christmas opening presents together and having a moment?
I was about to say, too, as soon as I saw a bunch of white people, I was like, oh, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
I was waiting for the twist.
Going? Where's this going? And it featured the product, and it got its point across. Do you have the new Jaguar?
Yeah.
One.
It's weird for me because I kind of like it in some spots and I fucking hate it in other spots.
So Jaguar has doubled and tripled down on this whole like
be original.
Be original. We're breaking the mold. And it's like, you're just doing that creepy woke thing that everybody's doing. But a lot of people are pointing out, like, dude, this isn't 5 years ago. You know what just happened in the election? Like, you can stop this shit now.
Yeah.
You can stop pretending like you're some rebel speaking truth to power by breaking the mold and da-da-da. So anyways, they're getting a tremendous amount of shit. Like that commercial with all the fucking different colors of Benetton cast.
Yeah.
With goofy hair and just some weird phrases. No picture of the car. And, we're breaking the mold here at Jaguar. It's like, dude, you sell a sports car. Who is your audience? Who is your clientele? Like, who do you think is spending $100,000 on a fucking coupe?
And that's the thing,
on
too.
It's
a two-door coupe electric car. So you're looking at some really high fucking prices for this thing.
Yeah, these are toys for wealthy people. That's what it is. Make a fucking car that people that spend that kind of money on those types of things would enjoy driving. I just think they're off base. So here's the new one. The new Jaguar concept car has been revealed.
There's the side.
Yeah. They're being mercilessly mocked online for this. The Type 00 two-door coupe has an extra long hood, a low roof with no rear window. Jaguar Chief Creative Officer Jerry McGovern said of the vehicle, when Jaguar was at its best, it threw away the design rulebook and created E-Type and the XJS, objects of desire. Yeah, true sports cars. It's kind of dope.
I will give it some credit that it is kind of dope. Like the front profile is solid. I like that.
Yeah. You know what, though? It's a concept car. Like in Detroit, we see these all the time. These
all the place.
Yeah. Like, I don't know that they'll make this, but what is this, kind of like a wannabe Tesla?
A little bit like that. It kind
is
of
this electric? Is that what this is, Garrett?
Yeah, it's 100% electric. But one of the things that I kind of have a gripe with on this car is their whole advertisement right now is copy nothing, and they made a car that looks exactly like it came out of the video game Cyberpunk. Like somebody who was just playing the game was like, all right, I got an idea.
So, and people are saying, so you've got Rodon Rose, dubbed Miami Pink, and Inception Silver Blue. I don't like the silver blue. The pink is not as bad. I have a feeling Jaguar may be about to find out there are fewer well-off, non-binary, woke lesbians of color than their echo chamber assured them there were. Go back to the pink one.
All right.
Copy nothing. EI, upsize a 2008 Chrysler Crossfire and make it a Mary Kay Cosmetics sales prize. Someone else commented.
That's pretty good.
Jaguar has successfully copied nothing. Nothing has ever demolished a brand more quickly or efficiently than this. Kudos. Dan Dillon from the Babylon Bee wrote, copy nothing. It's a pink Batmobile.
Yeah.
It sort of is a pink Batmobile.
I mean, copy nothing. It's kind of just this.
What is that?
That's a car from Cyberpunk.
What is Cyberpunk? Is that's a game?
It's a very popular video game. That's why I'm like, they've got a lot of copies.
I bet there's ones in that video game that look even more like it.
Yeah, with the no window in the back and front. They use screens and stuff like this car's trying to do.
Yeah. What is that? Is that also from the game?
That's from the game too. It's like you could totally just see this as one of the Jaguar concepts, and this looks so much cooler.
Yeah.
But this is what we get. This is the future.
I just don't know. It would be funny. We should have the research by now that says like, yeah, you know what? There's some loud people that are going to bitch about this and feel like, oh my, what the hell's happened to my country? But the fact is, at the end of the day, these are businesses, just like the NFL. They're about making money. And you would think they would go, hey, our quarterlies are out and it's clear. This copy nothing ad is moving vehicles. And what we keep seeing time and time again is you're not helping Marvel movies. You're not helping. Disney's not doing right by Star Wars.
Yeah,
you're losing audiences. You're having movies for the first time collapse the second they come out. This agenda that you've been running behind is failing everywhere. You know, I hate using slogans, but go woke, go broke. It really does seem to, you know, there was real market loss for Bud Light. You know, having Shane Gillis litter their ads now is a brilliant fucking move. It's about the smartest move they could do.
You know what though? I think they're taking a page out of Elon Musk's book with the Cybertruck. It just makes something that looks so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
People tend to buy it just because it's stupid.
Did you see the story? The warden sent it to me about Cybertrucks parked and raccoons are trying to get into them because they think they're garbage dumps.
Hell yeah. They are.
Which I could see.
They are.
They're all over here. I don't know if you're seeing a lot of those in Michigan, but I'm seeing a shitload of them. Dude, I see tons of them out here. Tons of them. They don't bother me. Like G hates them.
I hate them.
Yeah, I get it. I tell G the same thing. I'm like, dude, I totally get it. You were either going to be like, yeah, that's kind of cool, or you're going to hate it. I don't think Elon Musk gives a shit. It's a Pinewood Derby car. Thank you, Lynn. It's a Pinewood Derby car that Jaguar wants to make. That dude, I made that Pinewood Derby car. That's exactly what it is.
Yep.
Mine sucked too. I think I used graphite in the wheels. It was blue. But that's what it was. That's what it looked like. And I did not win with it. And I don't think Jaguar is going to win with this.
No, especially not with that tail. What is that tail right there? What is that? Why is there a grill back there? I don't know. First of all, you don't need a grill in an electric car, and why is it in the back?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like wind would be getting in and cooling anything down. It's going out.
I'm with you. It's a little weird. But you know, I'm sure they've got brilliant marketing departments that think these are home runs. Yeah. My guess is they're going to be sadly mistaken. Maybe I'll be proved wrong. Maybe this will fly off the shelves.
I mean, the Cybertrucks are still being bought. I know there's a guy I see all the time on the road, and you can't miss him because he's in a Cybertruck with a fucking metallic blue sheen over the whole thing, so it just blinds you every time you drive past it. Like, look at me! I'm in a Cybertruck!
There's a camo one I see all the time. There's a silver one, a black one. G actually was coming around on the black one. He was like, that one's kind of cool. My guess is they're dope inside. That's what I would guess. You know,
they're all right, but they're not built well.
Have you been in them?
No, but I've watched a lot of the testing and torturing around them. And one of the biggest problems that they have is they used an aluminum frame. So if you try and do anything truck related with a Cybertruck, it will not perform.
That's not true.
This one guy I've been watching, Whistling Diesel, he put his truck up to another truck. One of his trucks was started. It's just a regular F-150. And he tried to tow it out of a hill. It ripped the entire frame out of the back of the Cybertruck to try and tow an F-150 neutral.
Well, I watched Tucker Carlson did a I don't know, he got a Cybertruck and he lives in, I don't know, he's in like Iowa or something on a farm. Tucker kind of stays away, doesn't have a TV, the whole thing. And so a lot of his neighbors are farmers, like true farmers, you know, that are doing that life, lumber guys, farmer guys. And he was like, hey, if I give you a Cybertruck for a couple of weeks, and will you put aside your F-250 and just use it as you would, through snow, through mud, through everything, just use it for your day-to-day existence, hauling shit, moving shit. And this guy was just like, are you kidding me? I mean, he's right out of Central Casting with the lumberjack, you know, nice guy, you know, he's been working the family farm his whole life, generational thing. And I watched part of it, and the guy was just like, yeah, this thing's a motherfucker. It can do anything I need done as far as hauling, moving, loading the bed with whatever I need to haul it out. Like, he was impressed with it.
I don't like that. No, and it's not just like this is just a design element of that, but the way they built their bed, it's very counterproductive for trying to load things into the back of it. Like if you need to haul something that's going to be sticking out the top or having any kind of overhang, you're fucked.
Yeah. Well, you're the guy that fucking bitched about the Hummer too. And you got to admit, dude, when you drove in the Hummer, the electric Hummer, it was fucking.
I said, and I stand by this. I stand by this. The electric Hummer is a $100,000 toy. It's cool,
yeah,
but it's a toy.
That's all they all are.
That's what's
But didn't Elon go out of his way to go like, I know everyone's going to think of this just as a toy, but this is going to beat all your toys. This is going to be better.
That's the problem.
Than your F-150. It's going to be faster than your fucking Porsche. It's going to be
faster.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That thing's no bullshit.
No, it's fast. It's just it's not a truck. I think that's the problem.
I don't know. I can't say I haven't driven in it, but I don't know. I'd have to do more research on it, but I think that was the point. Was like, oh no, don't think for a second this thing can't do everything that your F-150 can do or your whatever. And that Tucker video that I watched was interesting on that, in that that's kind of the result that they got, that this farmer was like, yeah, this thing's a beast. I don't know. To me, I'm with you.
He's also probably boys with Elon, trying to help his buddy up.
I knew you were going to say that.
The guy I watch is universally hated by every car company to the point where he can't get insured, and most companies won't sell him cars from dealerships.
Yeah,
because he torture tests them very thoroughly.
Yeah, so it sounds like he's got an agenda too, to be a dickhead to all their vehicles.
Kind of, yes, but it's a good thing in a way where like a great example is he bought a Mercedes G-Wagon, a $90,000 G-Wagon, and he torture tested that thing to hell. Like he took it to the Silver Lake sand dunes and he jumped it 40 feet just to see if it could land it. That thing performed astonishingly good. And he has nothing but love. He destroyed the car, but he has nothing but love for the G-Wagons after that. He's like, look, I see what you're paying for now. This is quality.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'll put Tucker in this category. I believe Tucker when he talks. I don't believe Tucker's full of shit. And I know some people will vehemently disagree with me. I would ask for proof of that. But Tucker does not strike me as a bullshit guy or someone. Now, is he friends with Elon? Probably. I don't know what their relationship is, but if it was like, I want to test this out, I don't think he would risk reputational damage. He's not afraid to go, I was wrong about something, or I missed it on this one. That it's uniquely weird to Tucker Carlson. No. I know there's a lot of hate and people going, are you out of your mind? It's true though. I watch a lot of these news people. He's one that I go, okay, if he's telling me, it's usually pretty straightforward. You don't have to agree with it, but he believes it. And that's all I can ask from them. And so I think he would, if it performed and failed, I think he would say that. I think he would. I could be wrong. Maybe it was all just a fucking gimmick to try and sell some of these things for his friend. Maybe,
I think Tucker's honest. I really do.
Yeah.
The thing I have with Tucker though is I think like, you can give it to a farmer. Maybe it's good for like a week or two, but an aluminum frame on a truck is not a good idea. That's going to bend. It's going to snap. It's a weak metal. Well, it was a poor design choice that Elon doesn't like to admit he made.
Yeah, and maybe so. I think of it like you said it. These things, a lot of them are absolutely 100,000. They're toys. They're toys.
Yeah. And I think Doug said it better. It's more of an oversized SUV. It's not a truck.
Yeah.
If Elon put this out as like, it's kind of an SUV, put some back doors on it, I'd be like, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I'd have no problem
I actually want to take a spin in one. I do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them around here. I do want to check one out. I've never seen inside one. But
I'll put the call out if anybody wants to let me drive their Cybertruck.
Yeah. I bet we've got people listening that have one or know people that have one that could probably make that happen, at least for you. All right, let's do an email and get out of here.
All right.
And don't forget, Thursday shows are for members. Patreon.com/TDC podcast. Become a member, get that fourth show each week. NFL Script, Connor writes, hey, Mike, stop watching the NFL Network. You are following their script that they run every year. At the beginning of the year, they build insert team here up as the best team in the league. Then around Thanksgiving time, they poke holes and question if they still have it. Then the playoffs start and none of the bullshit they talk about on their morning show with old ex-players not good enough for network TV and some hole matter. Every year it was, does Brady still have it? Or if teams figured out insert teams here, here's offense. Same shit every year because it's a TV show. We have the best running backs in the league and the ability to beat you in a shootout or in a trench battle. Just believe, my man. Hi, Woke Bay. With love, Connor. Thank you, Connor. I know what you're saying. First off, I don't watch NFL Network that much. Here's what I watch NFL Network. If one of my teams is playing on Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football or Thursday Night Football, then I know that they cover that game way more the next day than they do any other game. Every other game gets fucked off. So if the Lions or the Niners play decent, I'll check it out and see what they're talking about. That's usually that's the formula that I care about. Otherwise, I really don't watch them. The other times I'll watch them is if my team's doing really well. The Lions last year, the Niners last year, obviously meeting in the championship game. When you get to that midway through the playoffs and they're only covering your teams, if it's a team you care about, I'll check it out then. Just because I'm like everybody else, I'm hungry for any story. All those, I can't get enough of them. What's that?
Any football.
Yeah, any tackle ball. When it's discussing my team, if my team's out of it, and if they're talking about the Chiefs and Bills, sorry, John Hine, I don't fucking care. I don't care. Yeah. I'll watch the games. I don't care about the buildup. If it's my team, I'll give a shit. That's when I watch it. And believe me, I am keenly aware of what TV shows and programming looks like. My issue with the Lions is injuries are starting to stack up. And what I was talking about,
John isn't the only one.
Yeah. Okay, Bill, I see you. How about those Bills? The Bills look like the real deal. You better beat the fraudulent, and I did say fraudulent Chiefs. Yeah. The Chiefs are a fucking fraud. They are. The Chiefs are a fraud. And I'll say this too. Mahomes' career is this greatest player to ever exist in the history of football, and it's plateaued and it's fucking doing this. That's what I see when I see Patrick Mahomes out there. He's special. He's generational. No question about it. They do not scare me in the least. I pray.
We know him now.
if the Lions can make it through the postseason and get to the Super Bowl, I don't want to face the Bills. I don't even want to face the Ravens, who I think have 5 losses. I don't want to face Lamar Jackson or fucking Josh Allen in a postseason. So one of you teams, the Bills, maybe they should, if they can keep the injuries at a minimum, the Bills should be there. Yeah. The Bills are the real fucking deal, man. I told John Hine the other day on Facebook, dude, don't even consider it a win if you don't beat the Niners by 24. And they won by 25. It's exactly what I thought was going to happen. The Niners are a joke. They're done. And for Connor's point, when I'm talking about teams figuring out stuff, it's like the league figured out how do you deal with Colin Kaepernick. Well, they figured him out. They did. Yeah. The league does that.
Kick him off the team for kneeling.
Yeah. You know what? No, defenses figured out how to stop him. And then that's when he started kneeling. When it was ineffective play, he was being benched by the 49ers because him just running like a deer everywhere wasn't going to work. And so he's gone. The league figured that out. The league also figured out, oh shit, what the Niners are doing with Deebo Samuel, running him all over the field, using him as half the time as a running back and as a receiver. He's middle of the road now. The Niners will be lucky to get a 7th round pick for him next year. They're going to dump Deebo Samuel. They wish they could have dumped Ayuk. They're in a total rebuild, in my opinion. The Bills should have smoked him, and they did. It's exactly what should happen. The Lions have all the ability in the world, and there's no amount of scheming that can stop them when they're healthy. They are a problem. Having 2 running backs who are capable of absolutely blowing through you at any given play, which they do, and having receivers and having a stacked offensive line is a problem. The bigger problem is if any aspects of those break down through injuries, and that's what the Lions are dealing with. So you will see how this plays out. But no, I'm not buying any narratives from talking heads. I don't give a shit what they think.
Yeah, it'd be harder to buy a narrative if it wasn't for the fact the Lions were playing the way that they're talking. It's like the scores are kind of showing what's going on.
Yeah, here's what I'll say about these talking heads. When it's your team they're focused on, they say dumb shit all the time. Now, as Lions fans, new to success, you're not used to this phenomenon yet, where they're just starting to pay attention to your team, and so they start talking about them. Here's what I get now when I watch Niner games and Christian McCaffrey goes out and Mason goes in, the running back who's also out for the year now. Mason goes in and they go, wow, this kid comes out of nowhere. He's amazing. Wow, this guy looks like he can play in this league. And it's like, yeah, I know. Some of us have been watching every play of every game, and when he gets his garbage time, when he does go in the middle of a game because of an injury, we've been watching him do this for 3 years. I knew exactly what Mason was capable of. I knew that it wasn't going to be that much of a drop-off with Christian McCaffrey to Mason because I'd watched Mason do it. Ah, holy shit, look at this kid. This kid, Brock Purdy, where did he come? Yeah, we saw it in preseason game 1. When you watched him play, you went, yeah, I remember that. I remember when Tom Brady was doing that kind of stuff as in preseason game 1, ironically against the 49ers, when he was playing for the New England Patriots. And you went, yep, that kid's got a little something there. I don't know if that'll develop. I don't know if they'll give him the time. But yeah, so the Brock Purdy didn't surprise me and G. G and I talked about it year 1 and went, yeah, that's what we saw early on from that guy, Mason, early on. So they're going to start making like these cute like references to the Lions, and you're going to be like, yeah, we've been watching Montgomery do that, or watching Jahmyr Gibbs do that, or we've been watching guys have those kind of moments, or I don't know, you'll know, you know what I'm talking about. So no, I don't put much stock in those national guys talking about these teams very much, but I'll continue to watch them though when my team's playing, and I just want to see my highlights. I guarantee Bills fans, Bill, I think it was there, couldn't fucking wait to turn on the programs Sunday night, Monday morning to watch Josh Allen diving for the pylon in the halfback or the wide receiver toss back, playground football play. Like that's the play. And no, that's not play of the year. It's not. Saquon Barkley jumping backwards over a defender is your NFL play of the year. Book it. So
there you go.
The play of the year has happened already. It was Saquon Barkley jumping backwards over a guy in one of the most freak athletic plays I've ever seen. That's a problem for the Lions too, the Eagles. Right. We'll leave it at that. All right. Well, send us your emails. What's that?
I was going to say last thing. Don't forget the Amazon link because it is Christmas season.
Yeah, Christmas season. Radio for One. Thank you, Garrett. RadioFor1.com. Just click on the Amazon link, shop away, and they give a little kickback to us, which is great. And we got a couple more shows this week, so we will talk to you soon. Have a great